Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about Dreamland. That's right, we're gonna go from Yoshi's, which is what we did last time, the smallest stage, to Dreamland, which I consider to be the largest stage. And we're gonna get into why I feel that way, and plenty of other things, and how to play on it with all the high tier characters. The high tiers being Falco, Fox, Marth, Sheik, Puff, Peach, and Falcon. So if you're interested in seeing a little bit of tricks for those characters and a little bit of a breakdown on how the stage works, stick around. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the stage and not waste any of your guys' time. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. The first thing I'm going to show you actually is about Whispy. You'll notice that Whispy actually takes a little bit in between the times where Whispy does blow air out. It's going to be anywhere from about 12 seconds to 20 seconds from when I did do my own testing on it. You guys can do your own looking at that while this is going to be going on. But while Whispy is blowing air, and I'm going to be holding jump just so you can see what that's like. You can see that it will actually blow me a little bit in the air, but once I get to about the edge of the stage, it won't really blow me any farther. The direction Whispy blows is actually random. I thought it followed a certain character, or if, maybe if two characters are on one side or things like that, but it seems to largely be random from what my testing is. If anyone has any correction on that, they can feel free to do so in the chat. But that's going to be Whispy. I know that we may not need that information eventually because it may get frozen, but while you are playing on the stage, you're going to need that information. So that being said, let's go ahead and talk about why this stage is the largest. So of course we have the bottom platform, which is the second largest platform, the bottom area in the game, the longest, of course, belonging to Pokemon Stadium. But why would this stage be longer then? It's because the platforms on the side and at the top exist. On Stadium, the platforms are much smaller, and there's a top platform here, and there is not one on Pokemon Stadium. So there is the largest amount of area on this stage compared to any other stage. So that is why I call it the largest stage. Because this bottom platform is so long, you're gonna be playing on it very differently from the way you would be playing on it on Yoshi's. Now, what do I mean by that? So you're gonna have more room, right? So if you're a character, like if you're playing Puff, you have more room to back up. You can keep backing up and you would still be over the stage, or you can keep backing up and now you're on a higher platform, right? So that you can basically, that's one of the elements of the stages. It's going to usually allow for a little more defense because people can just back up a little more. You can wave dash back a little bit more. If you're Marth, you can dash back more, things like that. So while on Yoshi's story, you might be focusing more on your attacks and doing less movement, on Dreamland, you're often going to be focusing more on movement and less on your attacks. Of course, you can switch it up, but just letting you know that you have the option to use more movement on this level. Now, let's go ahead and look at the platforms really quickly. So the platforms are actually the longest platforms. I believe these are longer than the Battlefield ones. If not, they're probably about the same. But I do believe these are slightly longer. And these side platforms are also going to be higher off the ground than the Battlefield platforms. The height is very important. If you are higher off the ground, then it means it takes you longer to come back down, right? And so if it takes you longer to come back down, then if someone's on the ground waiting for you, they could, of course, move backwards if you did come in. And so that's very important to kind of keep in mind that as an attacker, you have to be very mindful that they're going to have a little bit of extra time to dodge. But as the defender, you might have a little extra time as well, especially true from the top platform. So these platforms being long, and certainly you can see how much room I'm going to have here. I can actually, edge cancel. I roll to one side and I just do a fast fall back here. I'm going to be able to edge cancel on the other. There's going to be a lot of space like that. So that means if I want to attack into the middle, where I start from can be very different. So there can be a lot of possible combinations of ways to attack into center, ways to fake, and so on and so forth. And so that's going to come into play not as much with Puff, but with some other characters. So That's going to be the side platforms by themselves. But the top platform I think is pretty interesting here, and we're going to complete the connection with everything in just a moment. The top platform is actually slightly lower than the battlefield top platform relative to the bottom of the ground. Falco is barely able to make it to the battlefield top platform with a full hop, but he makes the top platform on Dreamland a little more comfortably. So this platform being a little bit lower and there being gaps, you can see there's a gap in the middle here that I can just fall through. There's not a gap like that on Battlefield, so we're just going to be able to fall down. And I think on Yoshi's actually the gap is not as easy to navigate as this one too. Seems like it's a little bit wider. So we're going to be able to move through here, and that's going to allow us to attack forward if we want to attack more from the top platform. And because this platform is higher, we can also fast fall through it and attack a little bit easier as well if we're interested in doing something like that. We've talked about connecting these things a little bit. Let's do that a little more concretely now. So if this bottom platform is very long, the second longest, and these are very long, and these are also the highest on any legal stage, and then this is also really high and really long, what we have here is a scenario where you can circle camp your opponent. So this is actually going to be a scenario where if you start here and you go here and you go here and you go here and then you go back, that would be a circle, right? You have created a circle on the field. And so you of course can go any way you like about the circle. You can just go straight up. You can go here. You could even go here because you're Puff, right? And you go and things like that. And this is going to be something that allows you to really camp out your opponents. It's a difficult strategy to do for 8 minutes, but you can do it for a while against opponents. Against Peach and Puff, you can do this a lot more successfully. Against low tiers, you can do this a lot more successfully. And usually as characters like Fox, you're going to be able to do this much more effectively. Or if even if you're playing, you know, Puff against like, you know, a slow low tier like Ganon or something, you could probably do this against him a little bit as well. It just sort of depends on your mobility advantage, how quickly you can get to these top platforms and side platforms and connect between them. While let's look at the reason for this, right? This is kind of confusing maybe to say, because don't Puffs and Peaches pick the stage a lot? Yes, they do. And why is that? The reason for that is because the blast zones, and these are the areas way out here, and I moved just to the side the whole time. If I go way out there, that's where you can lose your stock. Those areas are very far out compared to any of the other legal stages. It's very high up and very far to the sides. So the characters will often go here in an attempt to live longer. Now, this can backfire on them if you do circle camp them. And so it can be very hard for these characters to counterpick to the stage or reliably counterpick, or you could even take them there if you wanted to try a strategy like that against them. And that's just kind of something to keep in mind, to turn a counterpick on its head if you're interested in doing something like that. But again, like I said, it is very difficult. You could take a long time getting a lot of damage. Puff can get an up throw rest, even out the damage, or be ahead. And so that's something to kind of keep in mind. May not be worth it. So again, you can kind of see that aggressive playstyles can be harder to do here because you have so many outs, and defensive playstyles can work better. So again, just something to remember. Now, I think those are a lot of the general aspects. We talked about Whispy, we talked about the platforms, we talked about the bottom platform, we talked about linking all of it together, how to use that a little bit in terms of your counterpick strategy. But let's talk about some character specifics now. I think that gives us some application, gives us a chance to learn more about how we can actually apply some of this to our regular matches. And so I'm playing as Puff, and one of the things I can do as Puff, you're going to note that I can't really get to this platform with a full hop. I'm going to have to double jump to get here. If I do a short hop double jump, I don't get here, right? So just a couple of different things that can tell you how to get somewhere. You can actually full hop and almost get to the top platform. I think if you do a rising pound, you do get up there. So a couple of different ways to interact with some of the different platforms. You can short hop and go all the way to the other one if you hit someone that way, or fake it. Right, if you full hop double jump, you're going to be able to threaten it easily, and you have plenty of time, even if you fall down a little bit, to threaten all of the platform. There's not too much to really think about with Puff. It's just sort of remembering that if you run off here and you want to pressure, or you wave dash off, right, then you can threaten all the way under the beginning of the other platform, right? So that's going to be a pretty far distance. You're going to be hitting someone that's going to be right about here, so right about the beginning of the other platform, and that's going to be really helpful. Whispy's going to make that go not as far for me, but that's okay. But you can see if someone, because my back air does come out, it's going to hit someone right about here. So you can know about where you're threatening. So you can fake and go a little bit farther, or you can land and grab, or whatever, right? From the platform, you can go to the other one. But again, as Puff, your main thing, and you can see Hungry Box often being on the platforms, he can change about where he is, and because the platform's longer, he can do some dash dances and then shield drop and exactly go where he needs to go. And so as Puff, this is not going to be too complicated, but there are going to be some characters that are going to have a little bit more interesting tech. And so let's talk about Marth on Dreamland, because I think one of the things he can do here is pretty interesting. You can see him doing it right now, and this is going to be a double jump, no impact land. I'm pretty much short hop double jumping as fast as possible. And this is going to let me land and do a move faster than if I had to regularly land and incur landing lag, right? So I'm going to take less landing lag, and it's going to let me do, but if I mess it up, you can see I'm going to have like something like that come up, or I'm going to jump above it, and then I'm going to have to fall down and land. So it's a bit specific, but if you give yourself just a second to get up there, you can do things like this, right? And you've seen Zane do this against Hungry Box. And this is very tricky for Puff to deal with because she sees you jumping and then you're on the platform and you're putting a move even higher up than she expects you to be. It's very strong. You can, I believe, also Marth can maybe get up here. Yeah, so Marth can barely get up here if he does a wave dash off double jump. This is not particularly useful. There might be some edge guarding cases where you could need it, but otherwise you wouldn't really need it very much. But again, if like you're trying to cover a Peach or Puff going high or something like that and you need to get up there suddenly, that would be one way to do it in a tricky fashion. Again, no impact land is mainly going to be useful to cover opponents getting up there that aren't that are going to be a little bit higher than, doing up air like this. Speaking of, up tilt does not cover. Let's see if we can get Peach to show us this actually. Up tilt doesn't cover much of the platform. You're going to see that it is going to be able to cover a decent amount, but it's not like before, right?
This is fun.
So it's not like on Yoshi's where this could cover the whole platform if I'm standing under the middle of it. I'm going to have to turn towards Peach if I want to be able to get the punish here. And so I can get forward air, and I can, of course, get back air right there. And even if I'm over here, up air is going to hit. So up air is going to be really good for hitting through a large portion of the platform, whereas up tilt is not going to be as good at it. So again, I'm right here, and it looks like I should be able to hit my up tilt. You're going to notice Marths are barely going to miss it more. So you're going to have to be more in a position directly under the opponent to get a punish there. That's a big thing to keep in mind that often causes Marths to not like the level because it breaks his follow-ups. Again, Marth having to jump up at these low percents, go for tech chases is going to be hard. So something you can do against fast fallers is use forward throw or down throw to keep them in a grounded tech chase scenario until their percent's higher, and you can maybe no impact land on the platform, grab them, so on and so forth to get your punishes. Or you just have more time to set up, late up airs and things like that. So that's going to be Marth. He's, as I said, he's going to be a little bit different on the level 2. I don't think I actually have anything too unique to say about Peach. There is one thing I was thinking about that I did want to tell you about. So again, you can see you actually can full hop to the platform, so that's going to be useful for drifting over Falco lasers. And so the main other thing that you're going to see Peach players do when they're on a platform is they're going to be able to fall into you like that. And that's going to be really useful because Peach could float and not fall. Like you can see how I floated and then I fell a little bit later. So Peach can actually fade very far under the platform, even though like with most opponents, they're just going to fall like this and they can't really hit you. So you have to watch out for Peach going a lot farther under the platform than you would expect from other characters when they do run off, because she is going to have that float mechanic. That's going to be really valuable for her, and it's going to be something that no other character can really do on the stage. Let's talk about Falco really quickly. One thing that Falco is going to be able to do, you're going to be able to edge cancel side B from the edge. You can do this on both edges. I think only on this edge you can double jump to the platform. I think it's not easy to do. Yeah, so it's not easy to do it on this one, but you can do it. Or it's harder on one than the other at any rate. Much easier to land on one and do a wave land on one as opposed to the other. I believe the right one is harder, but don't fully remember. You guys can always test that for yourselves. But the point is, of course, we are able to get back, and you can see that Falco has a little bit of leeway to get onto the top platform. That's going to be very valuable for him because that's going to allow him, you know, to chase someone up if he shines. You can chase someone up and get a punish, shine, down air shine, or whatever. And so you're going to see that... I'm trying to see if there's anything else I really want to talk about. So there's, if you're hitting someone up here, you can follow with Nair, and then you're going to be able to edge cancel. This is something you can do on Battlefield as well, and even on Yoshi's, but it's a lot more precise. But because people might want to DI out farther. So again, on this stage, if you're hitting someone over here, they're very likely, because they have so much stage, to go this way. So if you hit someone right here, you follow, and then you might be able to get, you know, a punish with weak nair into down air like that. You're edge canceling, so you're not going to really have any landing lag. Just something to kind of keep in mind. Sheik, you're going to notice that Sheik is not going to be able to do something that she can do on Battlefield, which is run off needle, or maybe you can do it, but it looks like it's really precise. Yeah, so that's going to be really tough to do, and so Sheik is actually going to be able to fall. But being able to fall means Sheik is going to be able to pressure you on the ground much easier. Again, the gap here being kind of wide. We're noting that. However, this scenario when Sheik is on this platform is going to be really good for her on both Dreamland and Battlefield. We're going to be going over this again when she's on Battlefield because it's even stronger for Sheik there, in my opinion, because it's harder to avoid. So if you were on this space on a platform and you're Sheik, you can hold this space really easily. Needle, forward air, that's going to auto cancel. Going to be really hard for people to try and get in on it. And so the better you can kind of control this space, the better off you are. And then you can wave dash back. You can shield drop to hold your space if someone tries to come in or they go over you, right? You can just come in with back air if they're trying to go in, things like that. And you're going to notice that you're not going to be able to, you're not canceling like on Yoshi's if you short hop. So it's not going to be a big deal. Back air is going to hit the platform really easily. So you notice even though I'm like pretty far away, I can actually drift in as well. So it's not just at the height of the back air. I can hold that space for a little bit. And that's going to be pretty good for Sheik. Let's look at Falcon now. Falcon, we are going to be able to run off an aerial, so we can link aerials on one side to the other. Something I probably could have mentioned earlier is you can run off and you can fast fall, and you're going to be able to edge cancel here. This is not necessarily super meta useful, but it is going to have some use. Let's say you want to cover shorten or something, and you want to do like a double up air in order to do that. The spacies percent is high. You know, you can cover the quick side B, then a shorten or something like that. Something that you can think about. Of course, we are going to be seeing a no impact land coming out from Falcon there too. We can get a low landing lag here, but not a full no impact land because we are going to be double jumping a little bit above the platform. And that is as fast as I can get the double jump to come out. So I don't think you can do anything else with that. We don't make it to the top platform with a full hop, but importantly, we can go from one to the other with a dash full hop. So you can see how much space Falcon can actually cover. It is an insane distance. So we're noting that. And we're also noting that Falcon can fall, put out his up air, and he covers a large area here. So we're going to move Peach back a little bit, and I'm going to show you what it's like to hit this platform. So up air not hitting. Up air is going to hit, so I need to be about under the middle of the platform to hit someone on the side. So you want to make sure that you're spaced well in order to hit someone there. We could hit knee on Yoshi's if someone's on the platform. We're not going to be able to do that on this stage, but I'll just show you what that looks like there too. You have to full hop in order to hit it, as I'm showing you there. So the rest is I can attack from really far away on the platform. Of course, I can do that on the ground as well. Falcon just goes very far. You can use Falcon's fast fall to control your space if you're on a platform really well. So you can fall off with an aerial. You can fall off. Usually first hit in air is not the best because of holding down. People can reversal you off of that. But up air is going to be great. Knee is going to be great. You can fall off with back air. You can short hop off if you want some extra distance. And you can do it from top platform too, right? And look how far that goes. We're not going to be hitting Peach, who's all the way in the corner. But if you're just a little bit, inside that platform, we're going to be able to threaten you. We can do that on both sides. So that's going to be very strong. You can attack from a very far distance from the top platform if you're a fast faller. And it can be, you are going to have more time for the opponent to react to you, but you're going to cover a lot of distance, going to be able to do your own fakes as well. All right, so again, Fox is going to be the character that's going to make the best use of the circle camp strategy we talked about. And the reason for that is Fox can accelerate really quickly upward. He can fast fall really quickly. and his moves are really quick, and then he can also rack up damage with his laser while he is moving around. So that's going to be something that you're going to need to be keeping in mind while you are going to be playing Fox on the stage. Is he's the most likely character to circle camp you. You don't really have to worry about the side BH cancels as much from the ledge, but Fox will go for it if he is off stage. So you got to remember that as well. So again, we're looking at how far Fox can hit with his aerial coming from the platform. So we're keeping that in mind. We can full hop and quite easily make it to the part of the top platform with our dash full hop. We do not make it all the way to the other platform like Falcon did. We're noting that. And we can even go from this side platform here, make it all the way to the center of the top platform if we need to get a follow-up or pressure, which can sometimes be more useful in teams. If you need to just reposition, you need to know if you can get there or not. But that's going to be the main thing. Again, if you're Fox on a platform, you are going to have things like run off drill, run off nair. You can wave land back. You can empty land. You can fall off and then just do an up tilt if you think they're going to come in after you land. You can move between platforms just barely, but you can also move right past them, especially if you put a fast fall in there. So this is going to be very tricky. And what you're going to notice a lot of Fox players do is they're going to run off and they're going to double jump. And the reason for that is because it's very difficult to react to Fox being able to put out a nair at around this spot, or just doing a double jump backwards. It's very hard to be able to tell the difference. And if Fox goes lower, like if he's barely about to touch the ground, as you see there, I can just go back to the side platform and then I could run off and do another mix up. And that's going to be how Fox can make such a great, he can make such a big use of his great characteristics, his fast speeds, his aerials that come out quickly, his quick double jump, things like that. So make sure that you're keeping in mind how to use all the elements of the stage. I know a lot of Foxes can just prefer to play grounded, but if you do decide to play a more vertical mixed game, that's going to be how you can do it and how you can use all these characteristics of the stage as well. Remember, you do have a long platform to move along as well, and you can just jump right through it. If you're on the platform, you can just jump right through it. This is something you will see Mango do. And yeah, I think those are a lot of different ways to end up using the stage. Hopefully this makes some sense to you guys. You can try this out yourself. Let me know if I missed anything, if there's anything you'd like me to add in the comments. And yeah, I will see you in the next stage guide video. Appreciate you, gamers.